Hi, everybody. This is Lorena with Synergy Behavior Solutions. I'm doing this live on my computer again, and I'm wondering if anybody knows how to make it so I can see people's questions and comments, etc. Oh, wait, maybe I can see them this time. I don't know. If you are here, please say hi because I don't, it usually doesn't like tell me on the computer. I'm surprised this is actually easier on my phone, but I think there's just too many options on the computer. So, hi Yoshi. She was supposed to stay on her bed, but she gets really excited with lives because she's like, treats are gonna happen. So, today I want to talk about reward delivery. And this is such an interesting topic to me because I think that it's one of the things that can pretty dramatically impact the learner and their experience and how quickly they learn. And it's just another variable that can, it's just a really small change that we can make in our process as we teach behaviors or work on behavior modification that can really build the concepts that we want to build in our dogs. So, when I say reward delivery, I'm talking about how we deliver reinforcement to the learner. So, in this situation, my learner is my dog, but that isn't always the case, right? It can be any animal or human that we're working with. And the reinforcer isn't necessarily always food, right? It could be toys, it could be praise, it could be chase, it could be an environmental reinforcer like getting to go sniff or whatever it might be. But today I'm just going to be demonstrating with food because that's the easiest thing to do, and my dog enjoys that process. So when we're thinking about reward delivery, I really like to think about the what are the specific concepts that I am trying to boost in this behavior. It's not just that I'm teaching a specific behavior, I'm also really trying to shape my dog's personality and brain and help her make the right choices, or at least the choices that I have as a human have arbitrarily decided are the right ones. So that said, I usually try to think of when it comes to how we deliver food rewards, and I think this also applies to toy rewards. I think there's three important points, and so the first one would be the rate at which we deliver the reward, right? And so when I say the rate at which we deliver the reward, I'm talking about how many rewards are being delivered in a particular time frame, in a fixed time frame. And so I also think about location. So where are we placing that reward? Hey, no. Hi. Yeah, not your turn yet. Where are we placing that reward? And I mean physically in space. Where are we putting it? Because that determines where we are building value. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then the last one is the speed at which we deliver the reward. So when I think about speed, I really think about arousal. So I think about how we deliver the reward and the speed at which the animal obtains it is going to impact their level of arousal in terms of excitement or stress or whatever it might be. So, to start with, I'm going to talk about like rate of delivery. So if we are trying to build a massive amount of value for a particular spot or a particular behavior, a rapid fire reward delivery can boost that really quickly. And so, for example, if I am trying to get if I'm trying to get my dog to learn to heel, for example, I will be rewarding in position rapidly as I introduce the behavior. So I'll show what that looks like with Yoshi. So usually if I'm working on a heel, I'm just doing a few minutes at a time, right? I think I probably need to angle this down. Hopefully you'll be able to see my head at some point. There we go. If you can't hear me, let me know. So I'm going to start with her on my right side, and the rate at which I am reinforcing her, so in this case it's going to be a fast rate of delivery, that is going to help keep her in position and build value for the position. It's also going to add some energy to that heel. If I'm rewarding every now and then, it's probably going to be more like a loose leash walking scenario because it's going to be a little more loosey-goosey. So here's what it might look like if I were just teaching a heel. So she gets a really nice high rate of reinforcement, and that keeps her glued to my side. Ooh, drop the piece, get it. right there, silly. Yeah. Now wait. Yes. And bring her back. And so I can move across the entire room and deliver 20 treats in a row. Lay down. In just like 25 seconds. So if we are looking at a high rate of delivery, then we're definitely looking at higher arousal. We're really quickly building value for a position, and it's a really great way to add, I think, some consistency and duration to a behavior. So if I'm doing some rapid fire reward deliveries, for example, down. 1, 2, 3, 4. She gets a big, massive reward, a bunch of treats in a row for her down. And then if I slow down that rate of delivery, or if I make it more variable, I can probably I can start to build some duration. However, you will see that if I wait too long in between my rate and in between my delivery, she's probably going to come up out of that position until we get a more fluent behavior. Good job. So when you're thinking about why is my animal not being consistent in their behavior, it's probably because you are not rewarding at a high enough rate. And I think the most common example of this that I see is people who are trying to teach... Forgot to release her. People who are trying to teach a settle, a down stay, or a stay on your bed. So instead of thinking that your dog is the one failing because they keep breaking their stay or leaving their position, you need to increase your rate of delivery, which means that they need to receive more treats in success, like in a smaller time frame. Okay, so then we're going to talk about location. So I really like thinking about location of delivery and location of reward because I see it dramatically impact my behavior mod clients in particular. So, for example, working with reactivity, I find that the behavior that I am often, or at least the concept that I am often trying to boost in my like so-called reactive dogs is disengagement. So I want a dog that can turn away from stressors or turn away from the environment as a way of coping with that. And they can learn that alternative behavior of like, instead of lunging and barking at the thing, I can just turn away and wow, doesn't that feel good? Lessons for life. So when I think about disengagement, I am thinking about a physical turning away. So how many times can I get that repetition in different environments and to generalize that particular behavior of turning away, and usually back to me, depending on the animal, but just turning away is technically disengagement. And the other thing I'm thinking about is how can I, in each repetition, just use where I'm putting the reward to influence where I'm building value and the behavior I'm building value for. So if the behavior I'm building value for is turning away from the environment or away from a trigger, then I want to reward away from the trigger. So I see a lot of people, okay, let me grab a handful of treats here, working with reactivity, trying to do like desensitization. So let's pretend there's a dog that way, and their dog looks at it and they feed, oops, and they feed here, and they feed here. The dog's over there. We're just feeding. So now my dog is staring at the other dog while she eats treats. Do you think that's going to encourage her to disengage from the other dog? The answer is no, not necessarily, and probably not, especially with this dog, for a variety of reasons. But if the dog is over here, and I say yes, and reward on away from the dog, yes, yes, rewarding behind me, yes, or in this case, let's say you are the dog, ready, yes, yes, bringing the treat behind, or even, yes, tossing the treat behind me, I can get tons of repetitions of my dog turning away from the environment and moving in the opposite direction. So not only am I getting the reward for disengagement, so my dog is learning that head turn and disengaging from the stressor, in this case another dog, they're also getting distance away from the trigger, which is also reinforcing. And your dog learns a ton of different things in that one movement. So the place that where we put the reward is so, so, so important. That said, I also want to say for less exciting or less dramatic behaviors, where we place the reward is how we build value. So if I want to build value away from the trigger, I'm rewarding behind. If I want to build value, for example, for my dog settling on her bed, ready? Hop it up. Oops, hop it up. If I want to build value for her bed, the best way to do that is to feed the actual bed. So I'm not feeding her for the behavior of getting on the bed. If I feed her to her face, I'm just feeding her. But I can do like double the amount of building value for the behavior I want by feeding the bed, because the bed itself is where the value is. The other piece of that is that by rewarding the bed, I am encouraging her to offer a more settled behavior so I can start building the final behavior that I want, which is her to relax on the bed. But I don't necessarily want to cue that behavior because I really like shaping, and I like a dog who chooses the behaviors that I want over time. But I can make it easier by offering a nice treat to the bed itself. So, last piece that I want to talk about in the last few minutes is the speed at which we deliver the reward. The speed is different than the rate. So we can deliver rewards at a high rate but a low speed. For example, if I want to encourage calmness, I'm going to reward slowly to the dog's bed, or even slowly to her mouth. So nice, gentle, slow, calm reward delivery. This is a high rate of reward delivery, but a slow speed. So nice and calm. After just 3 of those, she's more settled, she's getting more relaxed, she's taking the treats calmer too. However, if I want to boost her arousal rather than bring it down, one of the easiest ways to boost arousal is to encourage chase. So if I want some excited movement, then I might be like, touch, get it. Ooh, there you go. If I want to get some speed, touch, yes. Just by having her chase, yes, the reward, I can encourage more arousal and more drive for the behavior itself. But at the same time, I could switch that and lower her arousal with some nice, slow reward delivery. One of my favorite ways to boost arousal and increase value in the food reward itself is to teach my dog to catch. So catching rewards is one of the greatest and most exciting ways for Yoshi to receive her rewards. And even when she's not hungry, she will often gladly catch kibble as long as I'm willing to throw it. Because the accessing the reward is reinforcing on its own. Lay down. And that's such a like, for me, such a mind-blowing concept, because it's not ultimately about food. And if you are somebody who's experienced in positive reinforcement training, you know that's the case. And so lots of people will say that positive reinforcement training only goes so far because food doesn't solve every problem. Absolutely true. Food does not solve every problem. Sometimes it feels that way for me, though. But what we're actually doing with positive reinforcement is building a relationship, which is a history of reinforcement. And so if we're building a really great learning relationship, then we have a dog who has investment in it and finds the learning process itself reinforcing. And we can do this in really simple ways just by adjusting the way that we deliver our rewards. So location, where we put the reward, builds value in the behavior or in the spot that we want it. So if I want a dog who can turn away from the squirrel, I better be rewarding away from the squirrel. If I want a dog who really, really, really likes her mat in the kitchen so she can lay there while I cook, then I'm going to be feeding to the mat. If I want a dog who, if I want to get the energy up or get my dog more excited in a food reward, I find that increasing rate and increasing speed, especially in terms of getting some natural behaviors like chase involved makes a really big difference. I have lots of clients who will tell me that their dog is not food motivated. And then I will get the dog to chase some food, and suddenly we have a food motivated dog. So what does your dog find reinforcing about the reward experience? It should be an experience. It's not just shoving food into your dog's mouth. Just because you are feeding your dog does not mean you are rewarding them. So what does your dog find reinforcing? And how can you manipulate that just by the speed or the rate at which you deliver it in order to build an enthusiastic learner? So please drop any questions into the chat if you are, or into the comments or whatever, if you are thinking about this, or if it's something that you've utilized, or if you found that a particular method of reward delivery is really effective for you or your animal. Would love to hear more, and thanks for joining. Have a lovely day.